We are 4 days away from the start of the 2026 NAIA football season, and we're going to look at all of the games that are coming our way on week 0 tonight. And you know, Doug, I've seen that the forecast for Sioux City, Iowa for Saturday is a high of 84 degrees. Doug, it is currently 102 where I'm sitting in southeastern Oklahoma right now, and the sun is going down. I can't even tell you how cool that is. Oh, and by the way, today begins a 9-day stretch in which I have 5 children that are 3 ages. I'll tell you how. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more tonight. Yeah, it might even get a little personal tonight. Who knows? But we're going to talk a lot of college football, Doug, because look right there on the graphic. Where is it? See that graphic right there? You know what that says?
Right there.
That doesn't say preseason anymore, Doug. It says week 0. We're here.
I'm glad it doesn't say a couple of zeros underneath there. Man, Joey, do you know how long ago we started this trek to get right here to week 0? And, man, we are here. It is game week.
It was 2025. I mean, you know, you got to go back. The calendar had not yet turned. It is time. Hey, let's get to this really quickly. Dave in the house tonight. Dave, man, it's always good to see your name there as well. Does it get any better? And Tool Envy has the answer. Not really. It does not get any better there. Dave is here with us. Matt, you know what? Listen. There's a tailgating. We're going to talk a little bit about that in the latter part of the program tonight because we do need to get to that because I have a couple of questions too. I have to find out about this maroon carpet and kind of see what that's all about. Leo, glad that you are part of the community tonight. Thanks for being along. I mean, you are a long-standing member of the community. Thank you for coming along, being along for the ride tonight. Doug must be getting the dogs out of the room. Doug, are any of the dogs in there with you tonight?
No, we are back in the studio because we started before 10 o'clock Eastern this week. So because it's not Thursday, I made it out. I have a curfew and can't get going that late. So we were home. But you noticed the what is that called? The background shows that we're here in the dugout, and we won't be. Although that's going to be changing pretty soon. I will get to that later.
Hey, listen, Thursday night this week's going to be a late night too, but you'll be in Natchitoches on the way home, right?
Natchitoches.
I say ditch. I don't know.
You do.
Yeah.
Natchitoches. So can I, real quick, and this is just a little story on that. I interviewed Coach Blaine McCorkle, who is the head coach that took over at Northwestern State when they had their little drop-off and quit playing football for a year. He's the head coach there, too. They broke their streak of losses and beat Alcorn State last year to get things going.
Well, they started another streak after that, though.
They did. So in the interview, when I asked him, I said, Coach, I said, what do y'all have to do to not look over an NAIA team and to have these guys not looking ahead over LCU? He said, Doug, we've won 1 game in 4 years. There's your answer. I was like, yes, sir, it is.
It could be a fun one there for you in Natchitoches. I'm telling you, the woman who taught me how to say that was from, she went to school at NSU. I'm just telling you. I'm looking back on it.
She must have the transfer portal or something because Tish.
Okay. Anyway, she's older than both of us. Actually, she's already gone on to be with the Lord, so that's fine.
Yes.
She's looking down now and probably laughing at me saying, I taught him wrong on purpose. Colton from Central Oklahoma tonight, not the University of Central Oklahoma, but he is residing in Central Oklahoma. One of my favorite D2 quarterbacks in recent years. Robert's in the house. He made it on time tonight, and with this as well, it is game week. We're going to talk about that. And Dave, ribs, and more ribs. Man,
I'm leaving
here quickly enough, Doug.
In a minute. I'm hitting the airport now.
We're going to have a lot of fun tonight, and we're going to have a lot of fun on Saturday, too. We'll talk about all of it. So let's get to this really quickly. First off, if you're watching the live stream tonight, and it is live, where you're watching us, let us know you're watching. You know, get in the chat, be a part of the community. We have a lot of fun, and we have the best community there is. These guys are great, and we have a lot of fun with that. All right, Doug, let's get to this really quickly as we're going to go over some of the games. So here, a little bit of the layout, guys, tonight. We're going to look because there, believe it or not, and we broke this up into like 5 sections, Doug. There are still week 0 games we haven't got to. We didn't get to a single KCAC game to talk about that. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some of the Thursday night games, give a little bit of a setup for what's going to happen Thursday night on college football this week because we're going back to the twice-a-week programming schedule, and that, again, began last Thursday night, or 3 days ago, Doug. Man, wasn't it cool to get to talk to Mike and Daniel, talking GPAC sports with those guys?
You could only imagine the number of stories between those two.
Oh,
And
yeah.
what I love the most is that the one of the worst moments in Riker's time was the best over there, and it had to do with somebody we all know pretty
That's
well.
right. Okay, listen, Dave, got to tell you, Drew Selland got mentioned by both guys.
Both
And I
guys.
think the same play.
It was exact. It was the game. It was everything. One's how great he does, and the other is how he just lit us up.
It's going to haunt his memory for a long time to come.
Exactly.
All right, let's talk about this, Doug. Let's begin. It is 4 days away, and we have not talked about where we thought the season might begin. So let's do something that maybe both of us, we'll just go into it. Preseason. How's this preseason look? From Doug and from me, here's our preseason top 10. We do get a vote in the NAIF Ball media poll that's going to come out over the course of the year, and I've just enjoyed getting to work with Corey and formerly John Cooper with that way back when. Corey's taken over the show. He does a great job with NAIF Ball. We may even actually get a Corey Thorpe picture. I think there's a sighting coming up as well. But yeah.
Joey, before we get going with this, though, can I make one thing perfectly known?
Okay, go for it.
All right. So what I do with my preseason polls is I print them out and I line the cat box with them, because how are you basing something that you don't know? I'm not the type of guy that likes to carry stuff over from last year, because last year was last year. This year is this year, and we don't know which freshmen are going to make impacts. We don't know a lot of things like that. You got to. Anyway, I'm not a fan of them at all, but I did participate in this because they're great for talking about things, but so is Haley's Comet. I mean, everybody wants to talk about things that don't really matter, and there you go.
Okay, first off, Haley's Comet matters to me because I was a Dixon Comet in high school, and I was in high school when Haley's Comet came around. So I have a special place in my heart for Haley's Comet. If you're going to bring Haley's Comet up, I was a COT or COM ETS. Comets are the best. So that has a special place. But let me say also that
these polls, I got a special place for them too.
Tell us how you really feel, Doug.
Right.
Let us know. There
All right.
go.
Now that the air is cleared, we can go.
Yeah. Okay. And let me say quickly, I agree with you. I love the preseason poll because it's fun, and especially, I mean, Doug, how many weeks have we had preseason or off season? In that little graphic down there. I'm ready for week 0, but it was something to talk about. It was a lot of fun. When I was doing some of the polls way back when with Corey, and we were talking about, I think it was back in 2020, one of the first times I ever had a chance to be on a video with Corey, we were with something with Champion Sports Network. And, I said then, you're champion till you're not. You're number one till you're not. And you know what? A little bit older Joey right now saying, hey, I know a little bit more, and I they're still 2025 champions, but as you can see there on my side, I have Grandview at number 2. Let's look at it really quickly. 3 of ours are in the same place on both of them. Doug, talk to your top 10 really quickly. You've got College of Idaho at the top, the 2-time national champion Grandview there at number 4. Yep. And you got, 3 teams from Iowa in there, Dordt and Northwestern, also making an appearance.
Do not let the 6-4 record fool you. This team is back with a vengeance and ready to go. We all talked about how I think Lindsey Wilson is going to finish in this season, but there's no disputing what College of Idaho brings back and what they do. I may get if you use me for bulletin board material and Grandview gets a chip on their shoulder because of me ranking them 4th, I'll take that. But man, I'm not a believer in what you did last year gets you anything this year. They're going to be really good as always, but the Yotes are sitting at the top.
Yeah, I've got them at the top too. Grandview, by the way, and I have all 4 of last year's semifinalists in my top 10. There are a number of unknowns, I think, especially with Benedictine, and I know that there are folks who've had Benedictine higher. I don't. I still have them there at number 9. Dort's in my top 10. I think that Noah Strickfaden coming back, such great quarterback, and the defense is going to be fantastic for them. Indiana Wesleyan, that in my book, it's a top 10 matchup on Friday night. And I think that's going to be fantastic. Morningside is an easy pick in the top 10. I don't think there's so much unknown on Kaiser because they get poached. So that's neither here nor there. Lindsey Wilson is stacked. They are absolutely stacked. and I still haven't seen their 26 roster posted yet, because I think there are a couple of names that may be back that aren't being talked about right now. And I'm hesitant to talk about them because I haven't seen it for sure. They're on the roster, so I don't know. Montana Tech in there at 3. Grandview returns a lot of players who have 2 rings, Doug. And now they may have been waiting in the wings to get their opportunity and to really shine. But they have a lot of players with championship experience. And, man, I just don't think you can – I think you have to have them right up there, but College of Idaho, I think, is poised to win. Again, not only 3 teams you had 3 teams from Iowa. I have 3 teams from the Frontier Conference, and I've always heard, since I've started covering NAI football, it's been a little more than a decade now that I've really kind of gotten myself into the NAI end of it. And when I was in school at Southeastern Oklahoma State University, the then Savages, the Savages were NAI at the time, and there were Oklahoma football teams in the NAI that were winning national championships, 80s, 90s. I mean, there were, I think, 4 of them that did then, and then finally Northwestern does again. So, I mean, I've got a feel for NAI. A little more than a decade now of actually really getting into it. Frontier Conference, because of what Carroll's done, gets a lot of attention. But you know what? It's not just Carroll. I mean, these other schools are big time, and I think this is the conference really that's going to be at the fore this year. And here's the take on College of Idaho. They're going to wind up playing somebody, I fully believe, because of the proximity, they're going to wind up playing somebody in conference in the playoff game. And it doesn't matter what they've done during the regular season.
That's correct.
They're going to meet them again. Like, again, could be another top 3 matchup right there on my side. Well, your side as well. I mean, this is where they met last year for a trip to the semifinals. Mm-hmm. I think College of Idaho, I'm not going to say they're going to run the regular season, but I think 1 loss tops, and they go flying into the playoffs. So I've got them at the top.
All right. So, and let me preface this by saying, too, that there's not a team, whether it's 1 through 10, it's the top 25, the top 50. Nobody works their way up this poll, too. In my opinion, I look back in a week from now and realize, boy, what a dummy I am. And you adjust it from there. I don't think a McPherson has to win several and to pass, and somebody's got to lose to. I think that you can move folks around in that too, and so this is a good idea of it. But I'm not a believer in you got to work your way up either. I could see a jump from 20 to 5 because somebody's doing some things that we didn't know about.
Doug, I agree with you entirely, and let me add on to that. First off, I'm going to get my soapbox out. And stand up, and the head may get red with this one, but I'll say it again. The NAI did a fantastic job, and absolutely it was a brilliant move a couple years ago to take the coaches poll out of the criteria for the committee to determine who's going to be in the playoffs. Coaches poll is great. It's fantastic. It's fun to talk about. It's a wonderful look at the season and where we are. But when you've got teams that struggle to move up in that poll for whatever reason, I'm not going to make any allegations, but for whatever reason they struggle to move up, it keeps people out of playoff position. And I'm telling you, I remember Terry Harrison had already made his way down from North Newton to Wichita, and Friends was not in the preseason poll. And it took them to like week 9, week 10, after they are just beating people left and right through that poll inertia of you've got to work your way up. No, you don't. If you were the 20th best team and all of a sudden you are the 5th best team, make the move, have some guts, put them where they belong. And that was a struggle. And I know people, either the coaches or someone who was a willing accomplice to the coach who did the poll for him if they didn't have time. Did I say that with my out loud voice? Sorry. Anyway, those things do happen, and it keeps teams out and on the outside looking in. And so poll inertia is a real thing. They got rid of it. The NAI has made some fantastic moves, specifically, I think, in the last couple of years. I think it's on the right track. I'm proud of them for doing that. The committee has made some good calls as well with the proper 20 teams to get in. You might make a little judgment about 20 and 21 and 22. That's all right. They've got those in there, and they're doing a great job. So, Doug, to bounce off what you said, and yes, the head is already red, Robert, I agree with you.
Look, and just finish that up. And here's, believe it or not, there are people out there that don't agree with what I say and don't like it. But you know what? You've been covering,
That's
and there are a
okay.
lot of folks, and they'll profess that they've been covering this for a long, long time, and they know way more than I do. But you know what I do? I don't have a lot of friends out there that are feeding information in or researching. I see what's going on, and I could get back in 6 weeks from now, and not one of these teams. Certainly, they will be because we've
Yeah.
got the cream at the top of it as you get it. But look, this is you prove it on the field, and then we'll figure it out in the polls. And the polls, again, I'm not a fan of them. We get it, but you
They're
gotta
fun.
they're fun. Yes,
But
it
they're
is.
fun.
They are. Look, Joey's head's getting red because of my soapbox. I love
That's all
this.
right. I'm throwing the soapbox out now. We need to talk about football, but yeah, but they are fun. But
Yes.
the committee's done a great job in the last couple of years. Dave, I'm glad you got to watch the replay. It really was a lot of fun to get to hear about Drew from two different perspectives on that the other night, and we're going to have some more folks coming in on Thursday night and Sunday night
Joey,
as well.
before you go, I know you're in the comments. The one right above that, can you put that comment back on there from Dave as well? That was a important one.
That one?
That's the one. Yes.
Okay, we've had that one up there, Doug.
I know.
I said go back to it.
Back up there.
Okay.
This is going for seconds of the ribs.
All right, we'll talk about that too. And Robert says, well, you know what? And we don't always agree, and that's fine.
That's right.
It doesn't need to be a mutual admiration society. It's okay. All right, Doug, let's get into this really quickly. Let's start off with Friday and Saturday games, and then we will go to Thursday's games, week 0. And you know what? I'm at the very, very end. That's not where I wanted to start. So let's go quickly. We'll just run back through these, Doug. That's all right. You're getting a taste of it there. All right, Friday night's game. We talked about this. Dort and Indiana Wesleyan. Indiana Wesleyan, 5 straight years to earn a playoff bid. The defenders are trending up. Doug, we've said this is I believe this is a win-win game for both of these teams, just playing the game, and there are about 3 or 4 of them out there. This is big for both of them.
And there's some pretty good things out there in this one. You even got a Bet the Barn segment that we'll redo. That Dort defense, this is a heavyweight brawl to start things off.
Absolutely. I want to throw this comment up. This one is a good thought. Doug, polls are fun. Tool Envy, who we know has a tie or two to Grandview.
Correct.
From his comments. Without the 1 or 2 seed, Grandview may not have repeated. That's an interesting take, Tool Envy. It really is. They had the horses. I mean, I know that you know that. You saw them week in and week out, but sometimes it is that matchup.
It also has a lot to do with playing in those conditions that they play in when those home games roll around too, because it was blustery to say the least.
Absolutely, and you're bringing people from far away there to Des Moines as opposed to having to make that trip. That's a valid point, Tool Envy. I like that. But you know what? But still, though, to the point, the last couple of years, it wasn't actually that's not true because the polls did determine 1 through 6.
Yep.
So, and I don't think that's going to be the case this year. There we go. All right. The weather was huge. Leo saying we all need more ribs.
Thank you, Leo.
Right. He's absolutely right.
Yes.
All right, let's move on, Doug. Let's get through these. We've talked about these already. Concordia hosting Waldorf. Coach Callaway, first game as head coach there for Concordia. It's season number 100. We think Concordia could be in good shape here. Doug, I have them in the preseason. We talked about this. I think they get in the playoffs as an at-large. We'll see how that one pans out. Anything on this one?
No, just all that I'm learning about Concordia, they've got some dogs, and so they're going to represent. I don't know if the playoffs are in the picture this season, but they're going to make a statement.
We talk about returning production, and I don't think it should always be as big a stat as it winds up being. However, Concordia has some returning production.
Correct.
And if those guys stay healthy, along with a strong line, I think they're in very good shape. Hey, Matt, Mayville State's heading to Sioux City as well, and we're talking about the meetup a little bit later on. May get a chance to see Matt in all this too, Doug,
How about that?
stopping by. So we need to talk about that and more. Mayville State definitely trending up over the last 4 years. Moving on along, there's that matchup. Not in Des Moines the first week. You have to travel down to Nebraska, where Tool Envy is going to be. And actually, he's going to be in Omaha for a little while, Doug. But I think we are like 2 ships in the night and we're going to pass him there. So
I'm waiting for you for an hour. I might as well sit around.
That is true. That is true. Grandview coming in on a 70-game regular season winning streak, 28-game winning streak overall. Peru State is a tough team, and under new administration now, under Coach Wilkerson, we'll see how that plays out. That's a tough
Joey,
draw in week number one.
Let me ask you this. Is there a scenario at all that Grandview comes out of that game 0-1? I don't think.
Yes, but I don't. I think it's kind of like, on Dumb and Dumber.
Right.
Well, it's more like 1 in a million. So you're saying there's a chance,
right?
I'm saying there's a chance. I think what would have to happen. I think you reverse everything that Peru State did wrong last year. Grandview has to turn the ball over about 7 times, and Peru State just hang on to it. That was the bugaboo for Peru State last year.
Right.
I think Coach Wilkerson addressed that. I'm sure he had to, looking at the film, and so I think that would be the scenario that you wouldn't want if you were Grandview. All right, and Dave, there we go. Tool Envy's a wise man. Tool Envy, you may get some compliments tonight. Randy made it. Son was talking with Coach Cunningham from Union Commonwealth.
There you go.
So they've got a big week 0 game as well. All right, moving on along here. Mid-American Nazarene down in Waxahachie. And I will be in Waxahachie sometime this fall, Doug, and maybe twice. We'll see if we go down there for a Midwest Sports Saturday. This was a big game last year. 6'6" Judah Holtzclaw returning. If you've ever had a chance to see him, I've seen this from the sideline, Doug. I mean, it looks unreal on the field. And I know it's just 6'6", but I'm telling you, he looks over the line and the defensive line and everybody and can see the goalpost, from his own 10-yard line.
We make a trip over to Waxahachie in the middle of October, I think that it is, and excited about getting over there to that one. Most excited about, I'm going to leave a little earlier and go by Meat Church Barbecue because I'm a big Meat Church Barbecue fan on YouTube. So I'm going to go by there and see that.
The coaches on both of these teams, there's a lot of cross-pollination here. Between these two coaching staffs that have been one on the other, and they know each other really well, friends as well also, and I think that's pretty cool. Then this is the big one right here that we're going to be at. We'll talk about it more as we go on. Series tied 2-2. Man, oh man. This is going to be a lot of fun, Doug. As far as I'm concerned, it's a top 10 matchup, and I can't see how it is anything less than that overall. I mean, this is a big-time matchup.
So when we go back to it 9-10 weeks from now, and we look at how well these teams are, and they're sitting top 5 potentially in there, then you'll even say, hey, what a great matchup it was on there too. So it's just, what better way do you want to start the season than this?
Man,
there are a lot of great week 0 games, but man, this is going to be fun. And
this one is also a win-win.
Yes.
Win or lose. Honestly, I don't see anyone dropping out of this and you fall by 20. It's been the last 3 matchups have a combined margin of 10 points.
Yeah.
So
let me tell you what I'm a lot excited about too is on social media. I follow that Morningside Mustangs parents page, and those cats are fired up. They're loving life, and they're excited about that Saturday matchup coming. And it's a night game, so they're going to have all day to hang out.
All right, College of Idaho. We both have them in the top spot in our preseason rankings, not ratings, and they lead this series by a wide margin. Coach Solo Taylor, first career game as head coach. He's an alum. He's been on the staff. I'm sure he has come in and he's going to put his stamp on the Mountaineers.
That's right.
Which, I'm sure he takes some from Coach Camp, but he's going to bring in his stamp, and we'll see how that turns out. They're playing this one at home, so College of Idaho has to cross the border and go over there for week 1, but this is it's a cross-divisional matchup. I don't know if this counts as a conference matchup either. Some of those first games in week 0 and week 1 don't really count toward even conference matchups. I know it's not division East and West yet, but there we go. Clark, first meeting between Clark and Mount Marty. And for Coach Heath Zuck, his first career game as head coach.
Yeah, look, anytime you get a first year coach, can you imagine the excitement that's going up? Joey, do you think we'll have a repeat of last year? Grandview had a first year head coach that won the national title. 18, I know that's a little weighted
So
question, but
that's a stretch, Doug.
that was a stretch. Yeah,
I
I mean, we
think.
got to piece things together. I didn't say this first year coach. I just said, do you think there's
No.
a first year coach?
Well,
No.
Team of the Heart Conference, so definitely there's a tie in there. By the way, I love this. Rugby Riken is back for one more year, quarterback at Mount Marty. He is a two-sport star, and I had a chance to talk with Coach Micheletti last year. Didn't visit with him this year, but Rugby Riken has actually, Doug, he has competed in a college football game and college basketball game on the same day. That's impressive.
That's living the dream. I mean,
I'm telling you, that is impressive.
you don't have the helicopter like Dion did to get from baseball to
No.
football and all of that. But you just get across campus and play it. And why not enjoy? I mean, that's what NAIA is about. And that D2 and D3, it's about going there and being a kid, being a young man, and maximizing life. Go pro in life later on, but enjoy that time that you're there.
That is cool. I'm looking forward to seeing how he plays again this year. And Tool Envy says, hey, Dave doesn't know Tool Envy well enough. You see him fighting through the Apple TV. You might not think he's a wise man. That's here or there. Leo is going to be traveling diagonally through Nebraska to get there. Leo, man, we got to connect. We'll talk about how we do that too. And just speed limit on I-29 through South Dakota is 85. Man, we were hearing 80 from Daniel the other night. 85?
85.
Well, I thought West Texas had some Autobahn type speed limits. That sounds like somebody's, wanting to drive a German car there in South Dakota. Wow. All right, we were moving through these quickly because we've talked about them already. Southern Oregon, Simpson, this should be another good matchup. And shout out to Brian. Good evening, sir. Thanks for being a part of the broadcast tonight. Hey, man, you got to be a part of Bet the Barn later on, so stick around for that. Central Methodist taking on Lincoln. This is a D2 matchup. First, this gets me. These two schools are 60 miles apart, Doug. First time they've ever met. Central Methodist, though, on the way back up. When Coach Callaway, who is at Waldorf now, was last there, Central Methodist, this is 4 years ago, but it seems like a lifetime now. 11 wins that season. Since that time, 3 total wins combined from 22 to 24. They won 3 games in 25. They're headed the right direction. Let's see how they do against a Blue Tigers team that, shall we say, has struggled in recent years.
Yeah, they have, and that'll be a good one. I'm just, how much of a purist I am. I love to see teams that are close together playing each other.
Yeah,
I'm a
absolutely. You've got to get those on there if you can. And it's good for fan bases, too.
Yep.
I mean, it really is. And, I've heard you mention this. There's going to be kids that, grew up together. And they get a chance to see one another play. And you get also, for your parents, they can travel to a road game that's not that far. So, that's
going to a road game in any sport is great because you could be best friends. But if you walk in with a different jersey, are going to get blasted out there.
All right, Doug.
Charles made a good point on his. He's late, but he's here. He talks about that Seahawks game. And, man, our thoughts and prayers. We've talked about Bud Clark, the rookie sensation that's there, was carted off the field in an air cast tonight for them. He's from the local high school, former from TCU, but was from the high school that we covered here for the last 10, 11 years. And so, man, you hate to see it. Football's a brutal game. You hate to see that for Bud Clark.
Yeah, you really do. But, Charles, man, I mean, my heart when you want to start talking about the Seahawks. Just throwing that out there. Been a fan since you lived in North Dakota in the 70s. So, yeah. I started watching the Seahawks in the 80s, so I have to go back to Steve Largent days, who, by the way, is still my favorite NFL player. That's just the way that is. Doug, I've been high on Wayland Baptist, and I hope that they live up to the billing that I've given them. They go on the road to Alpine, and this is not the same road trip that Central Methodist and Lincoln have. Any road trip in Texas is going to be long. I can attest to that. And this one, it's not a short trip, but I think Wayland Baptist comes in. Sul Ross State, well, they have struggled of late as well, especially making the move from D3 to D2. Part of a tough Lone Star Conference football schedule, and I think that the Lobos may see this as the opportunity to get a win and get going into conference play. But for Wayland Baptist, this is an opportunity. I mean, I don't think this really counts against them that much unless you drop by 50. But if you get momentum on this one and then you head into Sooner Athletic Conference play, because the front end of their schedule is not easy, a win here is big for the Pioneers.
Let me tell you, that includes a September 12th matchup where the Wildcats of Louisiana Christian make the trip up to Plainview to go to that game too. That's one that I don't know how to get there. I'm flying somewhere and driving somewhere else for that game. But, I mean, they jump in right away. So Wayland Baptist, if they can pull this one out, they'll have some big-time momentum. But you can just believe it's going to be a shootout. They will score points this year.
Yeah, they will. By the way, if we have time at the end, I'll tell you how to drive in West Texas because it can actually be scary. And it's not the speed limit. And that's not it. It's actually something else. Oklahoma Panhandle State heading to San Antonio to take on UIW. Incarnate Word, they've met once before. They were both D2 teams at the time. Oklahoma Panhandle State actually had a scheduling alliance with the Central States Football League, which many of those teams are now in the Sooner Athletic Conference, as Oklahoma Panhandle State is as well. They're in Goodwill, Oklahoma, and it is no man's land. They're traveling to, well, a very, very nice place, San Antonio. It's where I had my honeymoon nearly 33 years ago, Doug, and it was pretty cool to drive down there for that. UIW has some dudes. Just going to say that, and this is not going to be an easy first game for the Aggies.
I still like the Aggies logo, though.
Absolutely love it.
That's just really cool.
Absolutely love it. Texas College, another Sooner Athletic Conference team, on the road, heading to Crete to take on Doane. This one, I like this, out-of-conference matchup for both of them. Texas College had a great season 2 years ago, fell off big time. Coach Jackson's squad in 25. Can they turn it around? If they could get a win here, that's big against a GPAC team. And Doane just trying to get things going the right direction for Coach Johnson.
We talked to him, or we heard them on the Sooner Athletic Conference preview show, and he talked about some things. They had LCU on the ropes last year in a 12-7 game, I guess it was. But they just need to score a little more points, and they said that. But their defense is going to be there. They were that team that was a few series away, a few drives away from that not being that kind of a disastrous season. Yeah. So expect them to really hurt somebody's feeling this year.
They definitely have that potential, especially in week 0. Fort Lauderdale heading to Weber International. Fort Lauderdale has struggled against NAI teams, to say the least. Haven't won one in a while. The Weber Warriors, they've won 4 straight season openers, including a D1 win last year. They're going to play that Stetson team again in the second week of the season, so they'll have one under their belt when they do that.
Don't confuse them with the Blue Dot team and call them Weber, because Corey from NAI football will get on you on that one. It is Weber. I didn't do it. His partner in crime on the preview show did it, and he stopped the broadcast and called him out. So, Weber International, I think, goes to 4-0 in that series.
Yeah, they do. Actually, and I think, if I'm wrong, and Jeff Cuttram, if he's watching this, I think that's where his son went from Morningside out to Weber State in Utah. I think that's where he's playing right now.
There you go.
So, Dave, I don't know. You may know that. Let me know if I'm on the right path there or not. But I think that, I think that young Mr. Cutrer went out to Weber State, made the move up there to D1. Lawrence Tech struggled in season openers of late. They go against a Valpo team that's, they're 7-3 against NAI squads. But when you play tough teams like Indiana Wesleyan and St. Francis of Indiana, you come up with some losses. I think Lawrence Tech has potential this year. Doug, I really do. I like Coach Olenichek, and I think that the Blue Devils have potential. I'm not going to read a whole lot into this one way or the other.
No, you're right about that.
All right, St. Francis of Illinois. Coach Curry heading into year 15 as the head coach there of the Fightin' Saints. They're going to play the FCS national runner-up. Another one, I'm not going to read too much into this one. If, in fact, St. Francis struggles against the Redbirds there, that's a tough team, Doug.
Yeah, it's okay if that struggle's there. It's another one of those where are we games. Let's
Yeah,
go out there and
absolutely.
test and see.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. I thought that's where he was headed, and shout out there. Jeff still gives me a shout out in social media every now and again, so I definitely wanted to get that there for him. All right, Georgetown has a 7-1 lead in this all-time series, 9th time that the Tigers have met the Bulldogs from Butler. Last time Georgetown, Butler has a 7-1 lead. Sorry, last time Georgetown won was in 1980. Doug?
Look,
They could. This
yeah,
is one that, I think the Tigers, Coach Perrin was 7-3 in his first season. He comes back. He brings some players back. I think this one would be one, if they stuck around and actually if they came away with a victory here, I'm not going to be surprised if they walk away with a win.
Now, this is one of those games that you expect great things, and don't know if people would be as shocked as they think they are.
No, I don't think so either. We talked about this one as well. St. Ambrose on the road at Culver Stockton. St. Ambrose in the 3rd season with the Heart. Won 2 in conference play a couple years ago. Won 4 last year. Can Coach Phillips' team win 6 this year? Keep that one going. That's a tall order, but I think it's, anything like that's possible. And how about those Wildcats now with 2 players in the NFL?
Right. That's right.
So, all right, moving on along. This one's a big game. Faulkner, an independent this year, part of the Appalachian Conference in 2027. That Appalachian Conference is growing, and there's a lot of good competition on the way out there. Southeastern leads the all-time series 6-4. Coach Russell moves over from Campbellsville and takes over for Coach Waugh there at Southeastern there in Lakeland. This one, I think this one could be fun. I would imagine there's still a lot in place there for Southeastern heading into this one. They have it at home.
Yeah, being at home is, I think, the difference in this one.
Beautiful, beautiful field, I might add. D2 Lane, pick 13 in the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Bethel at home in this one. And these 2 Western Tennessee schools, again, Doug, separated by 46 miles, first time they've ever met. Man, you got to meet more often than this. I hope this one is a home and home. I hope that they meet again next year, but there are a lot of new players on that Wildcats roster.
I wonder if any of them are NFL players that are coming back. I'm just going to, never mind.
Man, I thought about talking about that, Doug, but let's just stay with week 0. All that's going to do is make me upset.
It hurts my feelings because I want to cheer for LSU so bad, but I'm telling you what, it's tough.
LSU is becoming the evil empire, Doug. I hate to say
understand that,
but
I understand that.
I'm just anyway. Here we go. All right, Rio Grande on the road at Defiance. Defiance leads the all-time series with a win last year and won in 1948. Mike Bartram, first game as head coach. Got to like this. Defiance, 4 of the first 5 games are at home. I like Coach Bartram. Doug, just really enjoyed visiting with him earlier this year. I know we'll get another chance. I don't. He hasn't come on college football this week. I think that was a recorded video. So I believe we'll get a chance to visit with him over the course of the season. I'm stoked for it.
Great thing about having 4 of the first 5 at home is wonderful. The bad thing about it is you go on the road a lot in the back half of the schedule, and that will wear you out.
Absolutely. All right. Now, Doug, here are games that we haven't talked about yet.
Okay.
So let's get to the KCAC as we get to the back part of these Saturday games. Then we'll go back to Thursday one more time. Of course, hear from the community. We'll get to Bet the Barn tonight. We'll talk about the meetup, which is going to be in Sioux City. And, man, I'm stoked about that. So, Doug, not going too quickly through them, but Southwestern. I think the Mound Builders are in a good position this year. Jamie Odom back for one more run, and this is divisional play here. They're on the road at North Newton. Winfield, not a far trip, just up the road there to North Newton. I think that Southwestern, man, this is an opportunity for Odom to just loosen up and get the season started.
And you've been high on Southwestern and on Odom for several weeks now, and so I'm anxious to see if they can get this thing up and going.
Absolutely. Let's go on, friends. Doug, we've been talking about Southwestern and McPherson. We'll mention McPherson here in just a moment. But what does that mean for Friends? I mean, did they drop off? Cavante Baker's not there. I get that, but I don't know that they've dropped off. And I will say, if it becomes a staple in every program, the Terry Harrison factor is a real thing. It is, Doug. So I don't know they dropped off. I think this is a tougher Bethany team than what we've seen in like the last 10 years. Coach Grossner he's got. I think it remains to be seen who's in. He had 7 players earlier. It's down to 6 on the roster now that are fighting for the quarterback spot to be QB1. They're 4 freshmen and 2 sophomores. He's got youth at quarterback. He has Riker Grossner as his son, the leading returner receiver there. And I don't know. I'm just saying I would pick Friends in this one, but I think Bethany's going to be stronger than what people have seen in recent years.
Look, here's the thing, and we talked about it a little bit on Thursday night shows with signal callers that are different. You don't only lose the athleticism of Baker, you lose leadership of him too. And you can say what you want to, but the only way that leadership and experience is gained is out on the field. And I think that it hurts this Friends team a lot because if there's something going on with Friends, you put it in Baker's hands, and he seemed to take care of things along the way. And without that, that's where I think the leadership and the experience, I think more than the athleticism, which was huge, I think is the difference in it.
So you're saying it's not just plug and play?
Not at all. You can't tell me. Now there are circumstances all around, but you've got to earn your stripes out on the field. You got to gain your leadership and your experience. The only way to get experience is to get experience. And
you cannot replicate experience, and that much is true. Well,
Speed
whoever it is going to get his first shot, or someone who may have seen some time last year, because I know there are a couple there in the roster that have seen some time out there when they gave Baker a little bit of a break, get their first opportunity there in Lynchburg on Saturday. Another KCAC matchup, Kansas Wesleyan at Ottawa. I think, Doug, this is probably, for my money, this is the biggest matchup in this crossover game, if you will, between the two schools. It is a tight matchup historically, 83rd time these teams have met. Ottawa coming off a playoff berth and then a drop-off season and then building back up last year. I think Coach Davis' team is putting itself in a position to do well. Of course, they won 4 to end the season last year. I know there's not necessarily a carryover, but I think you could carry over a little bit in that. But Coach Matt Middleton, and I misspelled his name. Oh, my goodness. Man, all right. That's one strike right there, Doug. I'm sorry. Whoever did that graphic, man, you don't misspell names, but I did. Anyway, Coach Middleton in year 2, he comes to Salina from Searcy, Arkansas for a number of years in that Harding offense and Harding defense. And he's getting him a chance now, I think, to cut loose a little bit. Harding has that vaunted running game, but we'll see a little bit more passing with him. And I think year 2 is going to he's going to get to. We're seeing more of his players there. Is what I'm trying to say.
Well, and
so that offense will open up. Go ahead.
And let me back up on Coach Middleton as well. He coached in high school in Louisiana before he got there and was in the conference that we played. And so got to meet him and know him from a couple of times. And Joey, you've done countless games that you've done play-by-play, and you prepare for 70-point wins and you prepare for 70-point losses and all the things in behind you have in there. It was one of the last games of the season, deep in the fourth quarter, and his son got injured. His son is up and is fine, so got injured towards the tail end of the game, and there was silence on the air and for what seemed like 30 minutes of game while they were getting him off there. But up and going, great family. Coach Matt Middleton is a dude and deserves everything that he gets.
Absolutely. I fantastic gentleman. Absolutely thoroughly enjoy getting to visit with him. So I think this is the big matchup of the weekend in the KCAC right there. McPherson on the road in South Kansas City, taking on the Avila Eagles. We talked about Jamie Odoms. How about Ryan Markarian back for one more run as well to lead the Bulldogs there? I think this one's a big one. First game for Coach Ed Warrener after all his Division I experience. So we'll see how this plays out in the NAI. Avila leads the all-time series 4-3.
I think he gets even after this one.
You think? I think so too. St. Mary, Taylor Calvert. the alum for the Spires, getting his first opportunity as head coach. And Evangel, this is the first year since 2019, Doug, that they haven't had a Myers on defense. I know. Coach Hepla is gonna, he's gonna be okay. But man, he's had some fantastic defenders over the years, named Myers, and a number of years when the brothers were both playing at the same time. So that was really pretty cool. But I think that they're going to be up for the challenge, especially there. And they're playing in Nixa again, Springfield. They go down the road about 20 minutes south of Springfield to play at Nixa High School. But they have new facilities coming along all the time at Evangel. And I mean, it's a campus. I like the campus, Doug, but it's growing. It's getting better all the time. So I think more big things are ahead. I think the Valor come away with a win at home on this one.
We'll follow that a little more intently, too. As we told you, there's a redshirt freshman on the roster from Alexandria that is there real close to us. And so that young man is up there. Jaden Lewis is a defensive back there. I think he redshirted last year. But we'll hope to see some more of him out there. So we're cheering for Evangel from back here.
And by the way, folks, if you're tuning in tonight and you didn't know that Doug was from Louisiana, stick around because you're going to get an opportunity to find out that Doug is actually broadcasting from Louisiana.
Right.
Anyway, Doug, ties there, and that's cool. I appreciate that you know all those things too. So that is all right.
I don't know how that sounded, Joey. My goodness. We'll take it.
I went into full radio voice there too, didn't I?
Where's my community support out of that? My goodness.
That's because they know. Community knows. They're absolutely aware. Sterling taking on Tabor in this one. Mike Gardner heading into his 19th year as head coach and 17th year in the. You know what, Doug? I don't know if I can make it through the KCAC. I'm not sure. This one Tabor has at home. I like the Blue Jays at home. I do. So there we go. I do like for Coach Langford, though, having Kendrick Bell back. Nice story on the Sterling website about Coach Bell coming back as a GA there after his time. And I do remember I had a chance to visit with his dad more than once. He was a softball coach at Sterling, but he was also at Langston for a long time as well, and I appreciated him. But his dad recently passed away, but Kendrick Bell coming back there as a GA there. So, all right. This one was big last year, Doug. This one, again, we've said it. We'll say it one more time. You know what, Doug? I think we say it one more time until after this week is over with, and let the Trojans get this one out of their system if they can. This game cost them the playoffs last year.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure. So if you don't believe that every week is important, my goodness.
It was week 1 last year. It's week 0 this year, and it's a big time matchup too. I mean, these two schools, make no mistake, they're not in the same conference, but this is a game that is circled on the calendar. So,
and I appreciate them not taking the game off the schedule, continuing to go get it and go get it and go get it, and ramifications be darned in this one.
You have some big names back for Dakota Wesleyan. The Tigers trying to repeat last year's feat and get a win against rival Dakota State from Madison. This one's going to be in Madison, so up the road from Mitchell and Madison. How about this one? The Erskine Flying Fleet. There aren't too many schools whose names start with E, so there we are. Same amount of letters in there, too. 7 letters in that one. Erskine, the Flying Fleet, finished last in the Conference Carolinas preseason poll. They are on the road taking on the Bluefield Rams. Kyrie Edwards is back for his junior season. He was their leading returning rusher, and again, another Appalachian Conference team.
Edwards is a good one. When you get somebody back that made such an impact early on, it's good to see him have a couple of years. And they have no ties to Louisiana. So
okay, just to be clear.
Right.
Okay, this week, by the way, Matt is cheering on Dakota Wesleyan this year, or this week. Favorite GPAC team this week. That's I can imagine that, and you're probably right on there. So, okay, here we go. Let's move along. Winding down Saturday games, Doug. 13th meeting between the Lions and the Tigers. Florida Memorial on the road at Edward Waters. Florida Memorial leads this series all time. Edward Waters has moved into the Division II ranks and picked to finish first at the top of the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Florida Memorial, by the way, Doug, you just have to – It's that whole thing about Wayland Baptist. And I picked Wayland Baptist as my team to win the Sooner Athletic Conference. They have to win, though, at least 2, if not 3 games against the 3 teams that are picked ahead of them. And that's the thing for Florida Memorial. They were cruising through the season last year, and then you get to games against Kaiser and St. Thomas and Southeastern, and it became a struggle. I mean, they still had potential midway through the season, Doug, to make the playoffs. They didn't ultimately. They've got to break past and break into that top 3 in the Sun to get there. Going on the road at Edward Waters is a tough place to do it.
You said that you brought up again that you picked Wayland Baptist to win the Sooner Athletic Conference, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, just a big shout out to Corey and those guys and James that had their finally, because they went alphabetical. They talked to us, got around to the Sooner, and they got the Sun out today. They had a different take on it, didn't they?
Doug, I was saving that graphic because we're going to mention Louisiana Christian later on. But let's go ahead since you mentioned that.
Well, you crashed my word. See, so there you go. That's how about that?
Courtesy NAIF Ball. And if you don't follow NAIF Ball, Corey and Matt do a great show, generally on Monday nights. And, of course, Matt is the sports information director at Dakota Wesleyan. Again, that's Matt Schwersler. Matt Herman's favorite team is Dakota Wesleyan this week, or favorite GPAC team this week. But Corey Thorpe, the purveyor of NAIAF Ball, and both of them picked Louisiana Christian. Well, I think that website's gone to pot, Doug. I think it's just gone completely downhill now. That's there. They've just lost all credibility. No, I'm kidding.
Boy.
Oh boy. Anyway, where were we? We were talking.
We're in week 0. That's where we are.
We're still in week 0. That's right. Let's move on. Closing down the Saturday games. Andrew playing their first NAI game, and they go on the road to Shorter to do it. Again, a team that's picked way down near the bottom of Conference Carolinas, and Shorter. Well, they haven't won a lot in the last 13 years. So Andrew has 2 seasons, both in the junior college ranks. Right. They were 5-2 in year 1, Doug. They were 8-1 last year. I think this is a great time for them to make that move into the NAI ranks. So this one, first NAI game for the Fighting Tigers there.
Great start.
Andrew College. And this is a big one, Doug. We wrap up Saturday's games, 3rd meeting between these two, Campbellsville under new leadership. How about the alum, the Fighting Tigers alum, Hunter Brown, first career game as a head coach. He was an All-American quarterback. He steps into the leadership role right here following Jake Russell. And USF, back-to-back playoff appearances last year. They had a 4-year drought after a long playoff stretch, including 2 national championships in 2016 and 2017. This is a big-time matchup, Doug.
It's another one of those you got to get on campus. You can't wait for. That's going to make Saturday special. Is a game like this, and man, I don't want them to be over with, but I can't wait to look back at them and see how the games worked out, and just watch a lot of football in between airport changeovers and those things. But we'll get
we got a lot to talk about Saturday night there, waiting around in the airport after our Sioux City trip is done. In the meantime, Doug, let's run through these really quickly. We'll talk about these Thursday night. There will be a Thursday night edition of college football this week. It will be late in the evening, and I'm talking Central Time right now, so do the math for wherever you are. Probably close to 10 o'clock. It's probably going to be close to 10 o'clock. Doug will likely be on the road back from Natchitoches.
Natchitoches with a T.
Natchitoches. I'm going to find new ways to screw this up, Doug. Pronunciation's important.
So more the D, Nacogdoches is the other, but that's down in Texas.
That's in Texas.
That's right. And so, but you know that story between Natchitoches and Nacogdoches, right? We'll save that for another time then.
Okay, all right. We'll save that for another time. Reinhardt at Lindsey Wilson. Big-time non-conference matchup. This is a Thursday game. It is Game 7 between the two. Are those the 2 best words in sports, Doug? Game 7?
It's absolutely it is.
I think so. Game 7 between the two. We both have Lindsey Wilson picked very high this season. This is an opportunity for them to shine. Reinhardt, 24-1 in conference games in the last 4 years. They have struggled in non-conference games. Not that it matters. If you win your conference, you're going to get the AQ to the playoffs, but still, right. I think you want to go in. Tulane and me mentioned it just a moment ago. How big is that seeding? And I think that Reinhardt puts itself in a bad position. 10 playoff appearances in the last 11 years, but you're not getting a high playoff seed, which seeds are relative in the football championship series. They're not true seeds like a bracket per se, but you want to get something better along. You got to win those non-conference games. Lindsey Wilson bring back Tay Saunders, who had a fantastic year last year. Expect the same this year. Doug, any other take on this game?
Now, I'd hope we didn't put the kiss of death on Lindsey Wilson, because I think I've got him up at number 2 in the preseason rankings. When you've got your skill positions, great, but that offensive line is anchored by Montgomery, and it's just going to be a great year. This is a test, though, right out of the gate.
Absolutely, but they do get it at home for Lindsey Wilson. Moving on along, this one, Doug, I think is a great out-of-conference game. Midland, 10 consecutive winning seasons under Coach Jamrog. Winningest football program in Nebraska. Sorry for all you black shirt fans out there. Since 2016.
I love that stat.
I love it too. Again, I've said it before. If I'm repeating myself for some of the folks in the chat, 2025 was a blip on the radar for Coach Pete Stanton, whose name should be capitalized still. 98 wins as the head coach there. He's going to hit 100 this year. He may do it by week 2, but it's going to be a tough contest on the road there against Midland. So that out-of-conference game. How about this one? Marion taking on crosstown rival there, Division II UIndy, moving to the GMAC in 27. They just have run the table of late in the GLVC. They're moving to a new conference next year. This is not just a gimme game for Indianapolis. The Greyhounds are tough, but
again,
Marion comes in with a chip on their shoulder in more ways than one.
You're absolutely right. Look, this is one of those that I don't know. The road team. Marion has an opportunity here.
Yeah, 11 straight wins on the field. Last time they lost was the blowout against UIndy last year. I think this one's a tough one, and you got a home crowd that's going to make the trip across town. I would not be surprised with a Marion win, Doug.
Look, we talked about they've had how many weeks? As many weeks we've talked about it. Yep. They've had as many weeks to sit and stew on it and come out there. And when you get that kind of drive and when you get that going on, because I mean, it was they took themselves. They did the right thing in all of it. They're
and of course, Doug is referring to they had to sit out because there was an ineligible player, and so they had to forfeit the playoff win, which they got on the field against Dort in a tough game against Dort. But so that's the last thing you have. You go into this season with that on your mind.
That's right. And look, I think it's been it's been many months of buildup for this game, and they'll come out there on fire.
Kentucky Wesleyan. On the road. This D2 team is on the road against Kentucky Christian. Kentucky Wesleyan struggled in the last 2 years, struggled in season openers in the 21st century. But Kentucky Christian, they're going to have a new quarterback again. They had Jet Ingle 2 years ago. Then it was Jackson Wasick last year. Who does Coach Aubrey have? I don't think it matters because I think he will have them ready to go.
Yep, another fun one.
I got to talk, by the way, Doug, with the sports information director for Kentucky Wesleyan back when I started the series of 50 States in 50 Days. His name is Roy Pickerel. I was looking down. I want to make sure I said that properly. He's sports information director emeritus. What a title! That you get all the years in there. You've done all these things for your university, and they just don't want to let you go, so they let you hang around and do some work, but not have the bulk of it. But you still get that emeritus title. I mean, that's fantastic. Kentucky Wesleyan on the road. Listen, Doug. I've already said I think Kentucky Christian takes the AAC this year, and I know that's going way out on a limb there. But
you were strong in that too,
and I am. If they get a win right here, how big is that?
Yeah,
I mean that would be a strong testament to what they can do. All right, moving on along here. Let's keep going. Union Commonwealth, as Randy said, his son got a call from Bulldogs coaching staff today. They're on the road at Cumberland's. This is a tough game for the Bulldogs, though. Cumberland's at home. They lead the series all time, and they've won 7 straight. I think the Mid-South Conference is a very strong conference. I think this is a good place for the Cumberland's Patriots to start this season.
And look, we've talked about the Patriots a lot through the years, through these last few weeks, and you're right. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go out there and make it another one.
All right, Northwestern at D1 Western Illinois. Game's going to be on ESPN Plus if you have ESPN Plus, so keep that in mind. Blake Fryer, former QB for the Red Raiders, back as offensive coordinator. This is fun. I like this. I like this a lot. And think about this, Doug. Western Illinois, 0-8 in season openers in the last few years. Does an NAI team go on the road and make it 0-9? How cool would that be?
That would be a couple of upsets that folks are looking at that night on ESPN Plus.
All right, Pikeville, another out-of-conference matchup. They travel over to Little Rock to take on Arkansas Baptist. And you look at this one and go, man, this is fun. Arkansas Baptist has struggled, to say the least. The last two winning seasons have been in 2018 and in 1955, and that was just a 3-game season then. Pikeville, well, you know, they made the playoffs a couple of years ago. That was a conference championship to make the playoffs then because they struggled out of conference as well. I think this is a good game for the Bears to come in and to pick up an out-of-conference win. I don't think you write off ABC here, but I think that the Bears are going to come in strong.
I look to see more out of ABC this year if they can solve the getting into the end zone issue. They didn't score a whole lot of points last year, but if you listen to them in the Sooner Athletic Conference preview, they've been working on that and realizing, and it doesn't take a genius to sit there and say we've got to score more than our opponents. But if you look around and go, well, we don't know what's going on with it. They are taking they're taking it and knowing that we've got to focus on this. But I think the Bears come in there and don't let up.
No, I agree with you, Doug. I was going to give that graphic when we came to this game, but here we are, 37th meeting between the Wildcats and the Demons. I'll just let you take it.
It's fun. It's a Thursday night game, and I talked to Coach Ben a little bit earlier today, and we'll start the Ben McLaughlin show on Wednesdays, and so we'll be able to talk to it. But I talked to Coach McCorkle, and he's ready to go. He's got his quarterback picked and settled in. It's only been for about 3 weeks that he's had that, but these guys that are on this LCU roster weren't recruited by Northwestern State, and they've got a little bit of a chip. Again, it's 52 miles between LCU and Northwestern's Turpin Stadium. It's going to be a lot of fun up there. The city is the oldest in Louisiana. It's famous for the meat pies. Tremendous place. We were up there at this Saturday, as a matter of fact. It's got one of the greatest old mercantile stores in it. The Cats and the Demons getting ready to battle on ESPN Plus as well. You can hear the radio call. They won't let us do the video of it this time, but we'll have the radio call for those of you that don't have ESPN Plus.
All right. Doug's fun to listen to, guys. So I will just throw that out there. He is fun to listen to. He calls a good game.
I'm not as shy as I seem on here. It's a lot of
shy?
Fun. Well, I know. I'm just telling you. I get more animated than I am here.
All right. That's fine. St. Thomas on the road at Cumberland. Another out-of-conference matchup here. St. Thomas, man, 3 playoff appearances. I've said before. I mean, you could say they probably deserve 4 and maybe a 5th one prior to that. But this one's a good matchup. Nice out-of-conference game. And they're going to play this one on the road up there in Lebanon, Tennessee. So St. Thomas goes on the road. It's a team that's not afraid to go on the road either. I appreciate what they've done in the last couple of years. And so they head to the state of Tennessee, and this one a non-conference matchup. So we move on Thursday. This one's a big one for at least one person who in the community. Graceland on the road, heading to Oskaloosa, Iowa for this one. And by the way, this one, I mean, we've talked about a lot of out-of-conference games and crossover games, divisional games. This one is a divisional matchup. I mean, we're talking week 0, and there's a lot riding on this.
How do you come out swinging like this in week 0? That is tough.
It absolutely is. And both teams are looking to put themselves in position for a playoff spot, whether it be at large or if you get a win here, then you head into you potentially, and you have to win the rest of the games, but you have the potential to head into the Grandview matchup saying, hey, there's a lot on the line now. So you got to get the win here. C.J. Brooks coming back from injury last year, And I think he's got some receivers back there to throw the ball to. That has been attested to by the community, at least by Charles there, that he's got somebody he can throw the ball to this year.
Look, I'm just anxious to see CJ and them. But what better of a matchup, because you're not having to get past an out-of-case. You're lining up conference. Let's go to work, and it's got a lot. You just get it on the field in week 0. Who knew?
Yeah, I was really happy, by the way, for the Statesmen last year because year 3 for Coach Benavidez panned out. I mean, there was no doubt it panned out for the Statesmen last year. 11-2, most wins in program history, and made a playoff appearance as well. So this one is a big-time matchup. We're definitely going to be following this one along. Division II, Valley City State goes on the road to take on SMSU. And the Mustangs, well, they've struggled. Their only win has been against Jamestown, a former NAIA program. That made its way into the Northern Sun. And Matt already has on this one. Could have a slobber knocker here against Southwestern. I think so, too. And I think that the Vikings are, from what I've seen of both these rosters, and I know I don't know them as well, but I think that the Vikings are in good shape here, Doug. I think they could go on the road and they could pick up that W.
Look, and that has such a way of getting your season going. Everybody wants to defend their home, but if you can go on the road and pick up a victory, especially when all eyes are on these week 0 games, well, that's a statement for them.
Yeah, Leo, going back, by the way, to that Graceland and William Penn's matchup, tightest matchup, he says he thinks it's going to be that way in the North, Heart North, and I agree. I absolutely agree. This one, it could and should be something that is well worth watching there, Leo. This one, maybe not as much. The Northern Lights, they've struggled. Man, they have struggled. They've won 1 game or less. Do the math on that one, Doug. 1 game or less every season since 2014. Meanwhile, Carroll is just Carroll. However, it had been a while since they'd made the playoffs after that dominating run in the early 2000s, and back to 2014. It'd been a while since they got a playoff win, and they get their first playoff win last year. And so I definitely like Coach Purcell's team in this one. They're playing it at home. People come in, they get a chance to watch this one. This one should be fun for the home crowd. I don't want to write the lights off just yet, but I think this is a good week 0 game for Carroll.
Carroll's set to, because there are a lot of people that really expect a lot of big things out of Carroll this season again.
Well, I do too. I have them in my top 10 already to get that started. How about this one? And we can talk about neutral site games. I'm not really a big fan of neutral site games in college football because of the pageantry, because you enjoy seeing the home crowd get up and do all that they do at home and all the celebration and everything. But I get it. If you're going to play this game with D2 Mary, another program from the Northern Sun Conference there, Rocky Mountain and Mary, there's about 5 hours between the two. But you know what, Doug? In between those two programs is a place called Glendive, Montana.
There you go.
And that's where they're going to meet. I got a chance to use the graphic again, Doug.
See, look, you just and look, there's no misspellings on this one either.
Oh, that was harsh.
Copy, paste, that's right.
That was harsh and possibly uncalled for. I don't know. No, I did talk about Louisiana.
No,
they're playing this at Dawson County High School at Perham Field. And, hey, listen, Mary had someone playing in Super Bowl 60. So how about that? Got a tackle for those Seattle Seahawks. Coach Bandolo in his first game as head coach. I think that Coach Bandolo comes away with a win in his first game as head coach.
See?
Just going to throw that one out there.
I thought you were going to tell me that there was an opportunity for another first-year coach to hoist the red banner.
I'm not going to go that far yet.
Okay.
But I think they get a win there. Let's move on from that one. Taylor and Olivet Nazarene, big matchup last year. This one goes to overtime last year. Taylor, you like Nathan Parker. I know that you like Nathan Parker, Doug.
I have. We talked about him in our top 5 running backs. We've talked about a lot of that too. Look for, and as he goes, will they go? It's just Taylor's going to rely on Nathan Parker, and I know it's a team. I don't know all of that, but when you got somebody as special as that young man is, I look forward to watching what he produces.
Coach Avant Mitchell in his 3rd year as the head coach at Olivet Nazarene. Doug, I've had a chance to visit with him 2 or 3 times in his time there. I enjoy every single visit. Does he have the horses to keep up with what Taylor's going to present on offense? We'll find out. They get to do this one in Bourbonnais, Illinois. So that one on the docket there on Thursday night as well. We're wrapping this up here, Doug, as it is UCO heading down to Fort Worth to Crowley ISD. UCO, one of the winningest programs in D2. Doug, I joke about this a lot because they're from my Sooner State here, and let me tell you something.
For those that didn't know, Joey's from Oklahoma,
just in case
you'll be able to hear about that a lot through the night. There you go.
There's been one Oklahoma team prior to this one, Doug. So anyway, UCO, we joke about it around here. They think they're D1, but they have the facilities they have there in Edmond. Oh my goodness! But they're going down to great facilities down there in Crowley too. And this one could be a D2 matchup in the future, as Texas Wesleyan has been accepted by the Lone Star Conference. So that process is continuing on down the line. First meeting between the two, and Doug, Fran Johnson, first career game as head coach. You've had a chance to visit with him.
We did. We'll have his interview up Monday on there. And he said, look, this is how we want to measure what we're doing. We go out there, and UCO is such a tremendous ball club that they wanted to go out there and do that. You know, he said in between the things that they have to keep in front of them, got to keep the main thing. You know, they're playing there at Crowley ISD there in Fort Worth, but they're going to be moving to their own. They're getting their own facilities on campus. The transition, when we talked, he hadn't quite been announced. It just got announced that officially they're going to make that move. And he said, look, that's for everybody else to take care of. We'll just play who we schedule and play. But when I'm telling you, and he's been there as the OC, such a good guy. And, man, I continue to wish great things for Tex West until they come to Pineville. And then the rest of the time they can.
Robert's right there, and Robert knows a thing or two about the Edmond, Oklahoma area, and that is a fantastic facility, no doubt about that. Starting to wrap it up. Oh, we can't bypass this one, Doug. Mm-mm. Oh, my goodness. Okay, we can talk about this for a long time. I'm just going to say win-win. Unless one team gets, skull drug 40 points, I don't see that happening. Riley Murphy in his second season. Lots of new assistants there, Doug. And again, another team coach you had a chance to visit with.
Yeah, Coach Riley Murphy, of course, over from St. Thomas most recently on there. He's been in a lot of programs, but he brings that offense with him. The thing he was most proud about is what his defense is able to do, and I think that gets lost in a lot of things. Can it slow down this Ore Diggers team? We'll have to see about it. But when he said, you know, they only had 9 games on the schedule a year ago, would that have changed things if they had a big-time matchup like this? Even though that loss came at the end, would that have gotten them in to the playoffs? I don't know. Is this the year that the Sooner Athletic gets 2 teams in? Don't know. I don't think they have a concern about anything else so except going up there and taking this victory. They're not going up there just to eat hamburgers and sandwiches. They're going up there to try to win this thing.
Absolutely. And I listen, Doug, if they played Montana Tech last year, which would have been a totally different season for Montana Tech if the Diggers lost the season opener. However, if OUAZ wins the season opener there in Butte, that Louisiana Christian loss would not have hurt. They're still making the playoffs. This is a big-time matchup. It is a great decision by OUAZ Coach Murphy and his entire staff. Win or lose, they have to go on the road and that's the thing too. I mean, it's tough to get teams of the quality of like a Montana Tech or someone else to make the trip to Surprise.
That's right. That's correct. And look, and Coach Murphy jumped at the chance. He said as soon as he found out that this was an opportunity, it was a no-brainer. He said they were going.
Well, this is what happened in the season opener last year. Levi Torgerson scored 3 different ways. Matt says that's going to repeat itself. So we'll see how that works out against that tough defense for OUAZ. Yeah, that's a big ask for that Spirit defense. And finally, we wind up with the William Woods Owls. Probably should have closed with OUAZ, but let's do this. They're on the road at Southwest Baptist, going to Rolla to take on a former NAI coach in Paul Hansen, who's in his second season with the Bearcats there. William Woods, well, the Owls won 1 game in 24 in their inaugural season. They won 1 game last year, too. Are they going to win one on the road? They travel across the state for this one and see if they can pick up the victory right there.
I don't know if they'll do that, but I do think that they put a couple more wins in the win column this season than what they've had, just the 1 win. I think they come out with 2 or 3 this year.
All right. First off, I appreciate everyone in the community sticking around. You're watching tonight. We've got a little bit for Bet the Barn. Let's do that, and then let's wrap up with the meetup. So let's go to this, Doug. If you, Tool Envy, you weren't here on Thursday night. We've done 3 of the Bet the Barn already. And Matt, excuse me, Leo, that does sound like a Bet the Barn. I was holding off on my Levi Torgerson right off the bat because I actually did an OUAZ on Thursday night, which, by the way, let me say this. Leo and Justin got in on the comments section, Doug. They weren't here watching live, but they've already made their picks for the first 3. So you can do that before Thursday night. If you're watching the replay here and you've made it an hour and 14 minutes in, you're an absolute trooper. But you can vote in the Bet the Barn before Thursday night. So we have 3 already in the book. So, Doug, let's go over those 3 really quickly. Okay. Here we go. Here was number 1 from Thursday night. Bet the Barn.
Where's our little barn?
Sorry, I forgot about the little barn, Doug.
There you go. See?
There we go. All right. Can't forget the barn.
Can't forget the barn. How you gonna bet the barn without the barn?
That's true. That is true. Just so you know, if you're new to the program, there is actually a barn, and I'm pointing that direction, which in my case is west. So I'm facing south right now. That is west, and there is an actual barn out there. Jody would be mad if I bet it and lost it. So. Mrs. Midwest Sportsnet. Oh, man, I gave away her name.
You gave it away just like that.
Joey and Jody, it's a long time thing. Anyways, I can't lose the barn. Benedictine at Morningside. Over under total points. I know that's a lot. And I will say, just so you know, I was the only over on this one. Everyone else took the under, mainly because the defense is involved. So Doug's taking the under on that one too. All right. Don't be afraid to put your pick in the comments. Dave is taking under on this one. All right, Dave. You know what? Of all the people, well, no. I mean, you're realistic about this. I just think this was the average, Dave, of the last 3 times they've met. So they've averaged right at 70 points. So there we go. But Dave's taking the under, just so you know.
Over and under number of ribs we eat. At that very game.
There we go. All right. We'll go through this one, too. Don't be afraid to put stuff in the comment section. Let us know what they're for. This one, OUAZ at Montana Tech, over under 62.5 points. 62.5 points right there. And I'm looking at this, and I've got this. There were 2 unders. One of them was Doug, because he's just taking the under all the way across. Almost everyone picked the over on this one. So where are we? Where are you taking this? Dave, we'll see. Does anyone have a comment there? Dave's taking... Dave's hope on this is that it is the over, but that it's lopsided.
That's right.
I don't think that's going to happen. I would be shocked if that happened. But there are OUAZ at Montana Tech. Tool Envy, if he hasn't vacated the premises, needs to pick on these as well because we need his take. And finally, Doug, from Thursday night, Dort defense. Do they give up over or under 29.5 points against what has been a very strong Indiana Wesleyan team? Arjun Lothe coming back at quarterback, so we know that is a, what were you talking about? Stability.
Yes,
that's what you were talking about. Stability at the QB position there.
Look, it makes such a difference because historically defenses are already going to be ahead of offenses. I get that, but you just come out and Dort's defense is what their calling card is going to be, and I think that they see that that this team is going to that, and they hear a lot of you guys talking about how they're going to allow over a lot of points.
Well, just so you know, this is Dave's over pick on the OUAZ and Montana Tech. So now Dave is picking over on the Dort giving up more than 29.5 points. And Dave, just so you'll know, you're only the second person to take the over there. Matt also had the over on that one. Everybody else picked under. So there are a lot of people who believe in Dort's defense. But, I say, and you know what? I agree with you. Dave would know because Coach Rohde is a former assistant coach on Steve Ryan's staff there at Morningside.
He would know.
So he would definitely know that. So a lot of confidence in Coach Rohde there on that one. All right, 2 more tonight, guys. Let's get to them really quickly. Let's go We're going to go with KCAC on both of these. Number one, the Bissell division has just dominated the Kessinger in the 3 years prior of this divisional play in the KCAC. And that's objective. And they just have. They've dominated. The over-under on this one. Over-under on this one. Does the Bissell division dominate again? And this just means they're going to win 4 out of 6 games on Saturday. Do they win at least 4 out of 6 games on Saturday? Doug, what do you think?
Look, my 3 bets from Thursday night were all unders. I don't see there's any reason to change. And yes, I do. Over the wins. Bissell win. Yeah, they'll win 4 or 5 of them. I do.
They're going to win.
Yes,
listen,
win. I'm over.
Okay, here's the take on this. I think that Evangel gets the win there.
Yeah.
I think that Ottawa is going to be a tough matchup for Kansas Wesleyan in Ottawa. Just throwing that out there. So, but that's just 2, Doug. If the other 4 win like they can, so there we go. Matt's taking the over on Bissell, wins over 3.5 in the crossover games. Robert taking the over on this one. I'm taking the over.
There you go. That half means no push. You got a 3 and 3.
That's why we're doing it. There's not a push on these.
Under. That's right.
Anyone else want a shot at this one? I think Tool Envy has vacated the premises. That's what I think. We got to hear from him later on.
He knew my dogs weren't here, so he wasn't going to stick around.
Leo's taking. Oh my goodness, Leo! Wow, we have somebody taking under. Leo has faith in. I'm guessing Ottawa somewhere, and then a couple more. Justin's taking the over. Justin with a Kansas team logo in there that's not in the KCAC. I don't know what that's all about. All right, let's do one more here, Doug, and then we start talking about Saturday. All right. Oh, I have to mention one personal thing before we go to that. Final thing here, Doug. Let's bring it up here. This also, I've got to get Dave on here. Dave says over, and Charles says over as well. So there we go. Got those 2 picks in there. So Leo, the only one saying the Kessinger has a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. All right. Final one, guys. Here we go. Friends. Let's go to Friends. Let's go. You know better than that.
It's getting late.
You know it is. It's getting late if you're doing that. You know better than that. So that's all right. Friends, are they going to be able to pick up where they left off? Doug says it's not plug and play, but we know it's going to be a ground game. They averaged a ton of rushing yards last year. And can they get probably at least 90% of that in week 1? Kind of what their average was. Will they get at least 90%? I'm going to say right around 80-ish. Between 85 and 90%. That's where this number is, okay? Just so you know, that's where this number comes from. Between 85 and 90% of their average per game last year, which means, will Friends rush for 100 or for 400 yards? Are they going to go over or under 399 and a half?
That's such a such a tough number right out of the gate. And
I know.
I talk about defenses, but I mean, there's been a lot that's went into the figuring of these, and I said off the air, and you and I talked about this too, over. All 3 of mine Thursday were unders. I've jumped on the over train on both of them this time, and look, I think they roll up to at least 402 or 403.
Okay, you've got them barely notching the over there. Matt says over. Leo says over. So going with Doug on that one.
So here's a dilemma for you, Joey.
Hey, hold on, hang on just a second, Doug, because I want to make sure these are dominated.
All right. They're dominated, yeah. That's right. Man, I told you it's late.
Documented is the word.
That's right.
There we go. All right. Charles under, Justin under. Robert says over for sure. No doubt about this one, Doug. And I'm going to go with over because the Terry Harrison factor is real.
It is.
I'm not saying it's plug and play. But I think they go out there, and these are guys that have been waiting to run that ball for a long time. And you want to talk about another team that's probably not happy with how they got out of the playoffs last year? I mean, that loss to Benedictine, especially, you get down to the wire there, and a turnover at the very, very end. They had a chance in that one, and it was more than just a dumb and dumber chance. They had a real chance against a very tough Benedictine team, and it just didn't work out, and I'm sure some of those guys remember that. I think they topped the 400-yard mark rushing, and so does Dave. Yep.
So do I. Let's get this thing going. I absolutely. I'm ready for Thursday night.
Ready for Thursday night. All right. I said there'd be one personal comment, so here's my personal comment, Doug, just because I enjoy this time of year. 9-day stretch, Doug, where I have 5 kids that are 3 ages. So my first 2 are Irish twins. They were born in 95 and 96, but they're 9 days shy of a year. My number 2 daughter, Jenna Page, turned 30 years old today. Happy birthday to Jenna Page. Shout out to her. So I love her. Of my 5 kids, of all of them, she's the one who's most like me. Doesn't mean I love one more than the other. I do not. Absolutely do not. I love all my kids. Now, do I treat them all the same? No, they're 5 different kids. You have to treat them all differently, but my love for each one of them is the same. But Jenna Page is probably the most like me. And if you want to know nobody wants to know this, Doug, but if you ever wanted to know what I would be like if I were a girl, that's the one. But again, nobody wants to know that. But so JC was born on September 1st, the year before. So we have Irish twins. Okay. So then 8 years later, Jayla's born. And then 2.5 years later, the twins are born. So right now we have 2 30-year-olds. We have a 22-year-old and 2 19-year-olds. How about that? 5 kids that are 3 ages.
That's crazy. That's something else. Did you see Robert? Yeah, you did see Robert. Okay.
Yeah, probably so. We're both patient till you get to a certain point.
Does she have a background? Like
I expect that from Charles, Doug. I didn't expect that one from you.
Well, I'm taking his slack a little bit.
There you go. All right. Background's in the work, Charles. By the way, something else behind the scenes, Charles, just so you know, I'm working with some camera issues, so I hope it's better tonight. I've made some adjustments. Still trying to get to Sioux City, though. That's the big thing. So there we go. Someday I expect to meet the actual twins born on back-to-back days. Oh, that happens. The ones that, especially in the ones that are born, like December 31st at 11:58, and then January 1 on 2 years. Charles is innocent tonight. He's saving all his cheering for Graceland on Thursday night, so that's all right. I'm looking forward to that one too. All right, okay, meet up, guys. Some of you all are going to meet up, and I need to put this in the. I'm going to type this in right now. Okay, so this is going in the comments section, and go. That is my email address. If you didn't know my email address, that's my email address. So if you're going to meet up and, we need to call one another, I have a couple of y'all. I have your phone numbers already, and I know, if you don't mind, we may call and just text a little bit and say, hey, we're going to be here at this time. The plan for Doug and for me is this. He gets to Omaha before I do. My plan supposed to be there at 11:59. My plane is. And so we're going to head north from Omaha up to Sioux City at that point. We're going to try to visit the Briarcliff campus.
Quick stop.
Well, first, that's right. First, we have to make a drive-by of Rosenblatt because
that's
you
right.
have
On
to
the
see.
LSU Tigers North. That's right.
Oh, gosh.
Sorry.
They've won a national championship or two there, right?
That's right.
They have. We're going to drive by Rosenblatt, and we're going to see that, and then we're going to head up and see Briarcliff, see the campus there, see where they play also. And I know, Matt, if you're coming down for that game, I know you were going to try to make it over. Then we're going to be over at the Morningside campus for a while. I'm hearing there are ribs, Doug. That's all I'm saying. I've heard that.
Yes.
We're to take part in the tailgating for Morningside. I get to meet a lot of people there that are there. There will be a Midwest Sports Saturday that originates from Sioux City. First time Midwest Sports Saturday is going to originate from the great state of Iowa.
How about that?
That'll be on Saturday, roughly 4:30. I know that we have at least one guest lined up, and I'd love to get to meet some of you all and be a part of that as well. So if you're planning on being there, let us know. Give me a shout out there on the email, and let us know. We'll connect, and we'll find a way to do that. This should be a lot of fun, Doug.
Second time that I will be live from Iowa. We did a game several years ago at the Field of Dreams there in Dyersville, and so nice. Now we'll be able to be live there as well.
Absolutely. Robert, I do want to do, and I've talked with Jake Nabel, who's the SID at Concordia. I worked with him over the years. Actually got to meet him in Topeka, Doug. He was up there for the NAI cheer and dance when I was covering that back in April. And like Jake a lot, Coach Daberco, Coach Bolt, the volleyball coach at Concordia. Fantastic gentlemen, both of them. I would love to do a show in Seward sometime. So that's still on the list, but right now it's all about Sioux City, Doug. It's all about Sioux City. And Charles, man, I mean, plane ticket purchased. I'm good to go. I may not sleep between now and then. Who knows?
What was Aerosmith singing? All my bags are packed and I'm ready to go. Yeah, let's get. We've talked about this for a long time, and it is here.
Yeah, Leo, Matt, Dave, and if there's anybody else that can stop by and see us at Sioux City, we would love to see you all there and be a part of that. Be a part of the tailgating and the whole game as well.
Look for that. Look for the red light that's walking around there. That's all tonight. I'm not going to mess with you anymore.
No, but hey, listen. Here's the deal. It's forecast, Doug. It may not be that red. I mean, it's a little tan right now, and it contrasts this white wall behind me all the time. Anyway, so I think it looks more red than it actually is. But forecast is 84, Doug. Yeah. It was 102 when the sun went down a while ago in Oklahoma. It's going to be heaven.
It's not even 84 now, and it's nearing 10 o'clock. So
yeah, I know. I don't even.
Charles lost his innocence, by the way.
Yeah, Charles has moved. I'm searching on Temu. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. My phone calls have been made, Charles. I've got a guy. I know a guy.
He knows a guy.
He's coming. He is coming to measure some stuff out, and I'm going to be when it happens. I'll be facing west, Doug, from here on out. So I'm still facing south right now, but it's going to be right over there. Right over there. It's going to be great. All right. So yeah, let us know. Send me an email. Please let me know. And if you want to, when I'll try to make sure that we get Doug with a phone number too and all that good stuff. But Dave, I'm absolutely loving this. So we go to the grandstands behind the home side. Man, we plan on just walking all over the place too. And I've already talked with Nick up there. So the sports information knows we're coming. This should be a lot of fun. But I am so stoked about this. First time we've had a chance to do a meetup, and it's great. And I've seen different people before. Doug, I had a chance. I mean, I've seen Randy 2 or 3 times down at Texas Wesleyan games, but nothing like this.
What has started as just a, hey, how about this, man, is literally kicking off. That'll be 3 campuses that we'll be on when we go to Briarcliff and go to Morningside, and, of course, the game Thursday night. So NAIA football is up, and it is going.
It absolutely is. I don't know if we qualify for this or not, Dave, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll absolutely do that. All right. You guys, honestly, you've been troopers, and it's been a lot of you that stuck with us for an hour and a half tonight. I wanted to get all the Week 0 games in, Doug, so we have them all. Thursday night, it's probably going to be 10 Central. Doug will probably be Sir Not Appearing in This Film. There's your Monty Python and the Holy Grail reference for tonight. It is likely that will be the case, but we'll see. And we will have scores, and we'll talk about those 17 games that are going to be played. 49 games now. 49 games on Week 0, 17 of them on Thursday night, Doug. Last words.
We'll have some updates for you throughout the evening, though, that's for sure. Check us out. We'll have the audio version of the game. It is on 446 Sports on our YouTube page. So hop over there and check that out. Give us a subscribe on that. Doesn't cost you anything to do that. But listen in, and man, you'll hear a lot of excitement that night. We're also going to talk to Coach Ben McLaughlin on Wednesday. We'll release our interview with Coach McCorkle on Wednesday as well, and it should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Robert, I appreciate it, and I don't know. Maybe one of these days we'll do it just for the fun of it. But we're all there. Yeah, actually, Leo, it's a good point. Is anyone sitting out this week? Yes, there are some teams that are sitting out this week. How you get 49 in this is all these D2 and FCS games, the D1 games that they're playing against that. So, I mean, you'd think with 96 teams it'd be a matchup of 48 even. It's not the case. A lot of out-of-affiliation games is how those add up like that. So there are a few teams that are sitting out, And I'm sure we'll talk about them a lot more in the next week. But yeah, how about that, Doug? How about that right there?
Okay.
Week 0.
We are
Week 0.
here. This is no more preseason, no more off season, no more none of that. Let's just the one thing that we all get to learn is, oh, I hope Doug knows what he's talking about on some of these things, but I just don't know. You get a whole year of me this time.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I would say also, hey, don't forget about Midwest Sports Net. School has started back. So my main focus right now is getting to Sioux City. I have a lot on the docket at Southeastern.
That's our buddy Tool Envy.
Oh,
there
man.
you go.
That's funny. That is funny. We've been talking about you, Tool Envy. You got to go back and pick all your Bet the Barn stuff. You got to put all that in the comment section. But there's, I'm back in class, Doug. I am back in class. So that's where, no, Leo, there are 2 more Bet the Barns tonight, but Tool Envy didn't bet on Thursday night either. So he's got, all 5 of them he has to pick up. But yeah, I've been back in the classroom. I think the next time I'm on is Thursday night, unless something big comes up and I'm able to get to visit with somebody. So I think Thursday night's the next time you'll get some here. But tell a friend, subscribe to the channel, because we've enjoyed the growth here, and it's been a lot of fun. So definitely 446 Sports and Midwest Sports Net. And final comment here from Robert: Learned ribs are the way to get on Doug's good side. That is actually
he ain't wrong. He ain't wrong. Let's just say that. Joey, what's lost in all of this week 0 talk is that this is the start that we'll all end up with over in Fort Worth.
That's right.
As we look to see who can Grandview get the 3rd. I don't know about that. We'll see. But man, this is the road to the Red Banner is on.
Yeah, and it's just less than 4 months out, Doug. Just less than 4 months out. Happy birthday to Jenna Page. Thanks to Doug Gann. Thanks to all of you. I appreciate you being a part of both of our channels here. So God bless you all. I look forward to seeing you again on Thursday night. It is college football time. Enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it. And God bless you all. You guys have a great night. Thanks for watching. Best community out there.